Hey, tubies, it's Psychic Bob. Woo! It's Saturday. It's so good to be back with you guys. Not to worry, Psychic Bob's okay. I've been getting letters saying, Psychic Bob, you didn't put out a video on Friday. Is everything okay? Yes, Psychic Bob, let me tell you, I have just been so busy with private readings. It's New Year, so a lot of people get their annual reading. And I've enjoyed it. I want to say thank you. But I do have to be honest, my schedule's really getting full. But thank you to all of you who've been coming out to see me. And thank you for you YouTubers who've been patient as I've been a little behind on video production this month. A lot of people calling. I'm enjoying it. If you want to call and get on my schedule for a private reading, you can do that. Just call me at my office, 703-825-3929. Again, 703-825-3929. Put that in your cell phone because even if you don't want to buy a reading right now, you might in the future, and you'll have Psychic Bob on speed dial. So I'd love the chance to read for you. For those of you who are new here, private reading with me, I am a full-time professional psychic medium. Private reading is a full hour, you and me, one-on-one, and we sit down, we cover everything, past, present, future, spirit guides, messages from deceased loved ones. We look at your life mission, your themes, all your karmic links, and I also answer all your questions. So I cover a lot of stuff in the reading, and I would love the chance to sit down with you. For those of you who've sat with me, I think you can say I honestly give a lot of information and put a lot of energy into the hour. So I'd love the chance to do that with you guys. Well, anyways, here it is Saturday, and today, because my schedule's been so full, I'm trying to slow down just a little bit. So we're not going to have a big, long class today. We're going to just do a seance today, some channeling. But I did want to touch in just on a spiritual point before we have our seance. And for those of you who know, I came out of the Spiritualist Church background. And in the Spiritualist Church, they have a declaration of principles. It's kind of like the credo, the doctrine of the Spiritualist Church. And it's the only creed I've ever seen, it's a religious creed, that I actually really agree with every single thing. A lot of churches you go, they have these creeds, and you think, I don't agree with some of that. But that's okay. The spiritual church, I actually like everything in it. But I want to touch in on a point here that I think is really important to think about as we go into our seance here. It's point number 4 of the Declaration of Principles. And it says, and this is according to the spiritualist churches, we affirm that the existence and personal identity of the individual continue after the change called death. I think this is so important, especially in our world today where materialism is so rampant. And basically what it's saying is that people live on beyond the grave. You see, the truth is we're not the body, we are spirit soul. And that spirit substance lives outside of the body. And, this is the other point, is that the individual's personality continues. The personal identity of the individual. So what that means is that, some people think that when you die, you suddenly become this angel and exalted being. No, you don't. Your only difference is you're in a spirit body rather than a physical body. All your likes, your dislikes, your prejudices, your loves, your hates, all of that is still going to be part of you. So if your old Aunt Sally died, and she was a mean old cuss, just argued with everybody, guess what? After she leaves the body, she's still going to be the same mean old cuss. She might be a little humbler when she realizes that there's a spirit world, but who we are doesn't change and doesn't disappear. And, I'll tell you, through my work in spiritualism, I've really come to realize this principle because, as you know, when I channel, what happens is the spirits of the deceased that want to come through overshadow me, and they literally merge through my body, my brain. I don't know how to explain it. They merge with my consciousness, and then they speak through. And this is why you'll hear different voices, different attitudes. You can hear that the spirit guides, when they come through, have a distinct, their own unique view of things. And I love that. I learn as much from the seances as you guys do. So, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and sit down and do some trance channeling. By the way, I got to clarify, the word trance, spelled T-R-A-N-C-E, not trans, Trans. I recently did a video and I said I was a trance channel, but somebody, maybe they misunderstood my words. They thought I said I was a trans channel. And they said, Bob, we didn't know you were transgender. No, I'm not transgender. I'm 100% male, always have been, plan to stay 100% male. But I am a trance channel. Anyways, nothing against transgender, but I know some wonderful transgenders. But it's funny that somebody thought that I was proclaiming I was a transgender person. No, I'm a trance medium. Anyways, funny point. Well, guys, we're going to take down the lights here, and I'm going to settle down and go into trance. So I'll see you in just a minute. I'm going to get the lights down here. I'll be with you in just a sec. All right, as you can see, I brought down the lights. And for those of you who are interested in doing trance channeling, you may find that a dimmer environment helps you. Now, I know some mediums who channel in broad daylight, and that's fine too. I just like a little subtler light. It helps me to go under better. So we've got the lights down. I'm going to settle down, and I'll see you when I get back. Oh, there we go. I think we're in the body. Oh, greetings to all of you. This is Fletcher. Oh, it's so good to be back with all of you. I tell you, we in the spirit world miss the opportunity to come here and to be with you each day. We're so glad when we have the chance to come and we'll share a little bit of our world with you. You know, the worlds are not so different. A lot of people think that the spirit world's far, far away, but really we're close. We're quite close. Close as a whisper, in fact. The only difference between our world and your world is a temperature of vibration, a change. You might say we're a little more elevated. Not that we're better than you, but our frequency's a little higher. Because when you step out of the body, you'll find yourself in a realm of light. And that's the realm that high vibrates at the spiritual light. The spiritual light is an eternal light that illumines all beings and all worlds and realities. Now, some of you say, well, I've heard about the realm of darkness. Of course there is. There's a realm of darkness as well. But that's not where most people go. If you do go there, well, that's kind of like your spiritual timeout. It means you've been a little naughty one, and you have to be put aside until you learn to behave yourself. So try to understand this. In the spiritual world, everything oscillates at a frequency of light. And on the earth, as you raise your vibration, you get closer to the light. And that's a very good thing for you to do. Now, you don't have to die to get close to the light. You only have to say, oh, I want to be with the light. You see, I didn't understand this because all my life, you know, I had people saying, Fletcher, you need to pray to God, have a little more faith. And I used to say, I'm all done with that religion. It's all a bunch of bunk, you know. But I tell you, when I died, I found myself wandering in that little place of darkness, you know. And it was thankfully the spirit people that pulled me up into the light. And, you know, the thing is that I didn't have to go to that darkness if I'd only opened myself while I was on the earth plane. You see, each person on the earth plane, they get to say, well, do I want to be with the light or do I don't? Now, we don't force it on none of you. It's all up to you if you want to be in the light. If you don't want to be in the light, you won't be. But we encourage you. Just consider asking the spirit to be in your life. If you don't know how to do it, you can call him and say, Fletcher, I don't know what I'm doing, help me. Oh, I'll come and help you. And I'll probably bring a few others with me as well, because, well, we've got a lot of souls over here who'll be wanting to be helping on the earth. Well, speaking of souls, we got a few people be wanting to speak to you. So I'll be stepping from our medium's body. This is Fletcher, over and out. Yes, Fletcher, I do believe we are in the body now. I do hope that all of you out there can hear me. I was listening to Fletcher speak about the light of the spirit world. It is true that over here things oscillate at a higher frequency. If you were to come to the spirit world in your material body, your body would be burned to a cinder, to an ash. Your eyes would disappear from their sockets. This is because there is a fundamental difference between the physical world and the spiritual world. And that difference is one of frequency and vibration. Over here, the sounds of the spirit world would shatter your earthly eardrums. It is not because the music here is so horrific, as some would believe, but because it is at a higher pitch, higher frequency. Your eyes cannot look upon the light here without being damaged, for the light is a brightness and a brilliance that is beyond anything of your earth. Have you ever been blinded by a halogen light? I have seen upon the earth they have the automobiles that have the halogen lamps in the front. Imagine if you were to take a halogen lamp and put it straight up to your eye, but it would be magnified 1,000,000 times. Can you imagine the pain that your physical eye would suffer? This is how it is with the spirit world if you are not in a spiritual body. Fortunately, nobody has yet succeeded to drift into the spiritual world in their material body. This shall never happen, for the material is the material and the spiritual is the spiritual. Yes, they are very close at times, and in times we do have bleed-throughs. Some of you on earth have been in homes that are haunted, and you say, Alfred, I saw a ghost. You could swear to me that it was there floating across the room. And the truth is, it was there floating across the room, but it was really on the edge of both realms, in the spiritual and the physical. When one does not develop one's soul, one's vibration is at such a very low rate that it cannot escape the physical. And this is what accounts for ghosts, for hauntings, for those moments of terror that some people say, I saw the most ghastly scene. When a soul becomes earthbound, which means that it will not let go of earthly life, it clings to the material world, it carries with it into the spiritual realm all its bodily decay. For example, if you're an old man and you're missing a leg, and you don't let go at your time of day, you hold on to the earth, you will be in the spirit body, and you will have no leg, and you will be aged and feel decrepit. When you let go of the material and you ascend to the higher realms, to the light, then your body, your spirit body, is restored to fullness. Try to understand that your spiritual body is a clone, if I may use the word, of your material. It is exact replica, duplicate. It is like a Xerox copy, to use the modern lingo that you say on earth. And so if you were to scan your image, let's say you have your face and you put it on a scanner, there will be an image of your face, it will be a duplicate of your face. It carries your essence, but it will also carry all your imperfections. If you have a scar on your face, it will be in the Xerox copy, in the scanned copy. This is how it is in the spiritual body. When you first emerge, you carry all the traits of your physical body, scars, dimples alike, all of the good and the bad. But as you ascend to the spirit, you drop off the material, and what is left is the true you, the refined you. The refined body has no imperfections, for it is an eternal vehicle. It has always existed. It will always exist. So understand that holding too tightly to the material world has a negative benefit, not only in this life, but in the life to come. So I implore you, do not become an earthbound soul. Now some of you will say, Alfred, I have a great fear, I think that I shall become earthbound. Well, if you have that fear, chances most likely are that you will not become earthbound, for the earthbound souls are so enmeshed in their drama and in their trauma on the earth that they refuse to let it go. No matter what you have suffered in this life, whether it be abuse at the hands of another, or feelings of rejection, abandonment, or loneliness, or even physical destruction, injury, amputations, all of these things are of the physical, and yes, they impact the spiritual. But at some point you will let them go, and you will ascend into the light, and you will find that the limbs that you have lost are restored. The scars that you bore are no longer with you. Your age that has decayed your body is no longer with you. You will be young, you will be refreshed, you will be beautiful again. Many of you who have had near-death experiences can testify to my words. Some of you listening tonight have died to the body and appeared in our world. And you will be able to say that you saw beings there who have immense beauty. Some of you even met with relatives. And many of you will come and tell a tale and say, I saw my grandmother there, but I swear she looked 50 years younger. And that's because she was. All the things that delay you in the material world are taken. In the spiritual world, you're given youth, restoration, and peace. Are these things not worth striving for? Why cling to useless money in fear of your body, when in the end you will ascend into a light and leave it all behind? This is not to say that the earthly life is not important. It is. It has great value and should be cherished and utilized, but utilized for the betterment of all, for the growth of the spirit. You don't come into earth to amass a fortune and to be wealthy. What will it get you? You come to the earth to grow your spirit. If having a great fortune will help you, it will be given to you. Remember that there is the karmic principle, K-A-R-M-I-C, karmic. And what this means is that some of you will receive rewards because your soul is prepared it in former lives. Some of you come in with a heart that is so pure that you will always have a connection to the divine and protection of heaven. Some of you come in saying you don't want to remember God, and for some of you that will be allowed. You will be allowed to experience the world without a spiritual perspective. But know that at some point, no matter who you are, where you come from, or why you're here, you will be asked to consider the spiritual. Tonight there are some of you here saying, but Alfred, I don't believe in life after death, yet I cannot explain your presence here. I do know you're real, I can feel your energy, but I do not understand how this is possible. You must let go of your material mind's limitations that perceive things only in terms of the body and material reality. The only good the body is that it houses the soul. Once the soul leaves the body, it is of no value. It is like an old, worn-out coat is cast aside. So do not be so attached to your body that you cannot leave it someday. Fletcher is asking me to tell you there are others who wish to speak, so I shall not beleaguer the point. But let it be said in closing that each of you are not the body, you are the spirit soul within. And if you will let that light guide you, you shall attain great peace, great joy, and great freedom ultimately. My name is Alfred. Oh, greetings, my dears. This is Rose. Oh, it's such a blessing to be with all of you. I echo Alfred's sentiments that we have such a joy in coming to visit with all of you. I was listening to Alfred's words, and he spoke words of truth. During my earthly life, I was very enamored of the material world. I had the finest clothes, the finest homes, the greatest bank accounts you could imagine. And yet, you know, ultimately it did not help me achieve much in the spirit world. When I first arrived here in the spirit world, I was for all senses a pauper. Now, you know, on earth, as I mentioned, I had the most fine clothes and best designers, and I walked in high style. It's all very true, my dear. But when I came here, I was clothed in a simple white robe, nothing elaborate, no beautiful tailors, simple play, as if it were made of a sheet. I was a little dismayed. I said, "Where are my fine clothes?" And I was told by higher beings that I had to earn the right to clothes. I said, "I am Rose. I have a lot of money. I have prestige. I want my fine clothes back. You've stolen them from me. Oh, my dears, I was so ignorant. And they said, my dear Rose, all of those things were left behind when you left the body on the earth. You're in the spirit world. I said, I don't believe I'm in the spirit world. I want my clothes back, and I'm not wearing this humbug clothing of a sheet, boring and ugly as it is. But you will see, my mind was still very much attached to only material things. When I started to understand the things of spirit, suddenly I realized that through my own very mind, I could create my clothes again. I could create beautiful jewelry. And as I created these things, my spirit guides here said, Rose, you're doing very well. You're using your mind to focus upon beautiful things, things of the light that inspire people. Do you know, in the spirit world, I don't dress myself out of vanity, not to say, look at me, I'm in the most beautiful designer clothes, I have the biggest diamonds. No, no, my dears. But the things that I enjoy here are to make others feel joy. In the spirit world, joy is found through service to others. So when I put on my fine diamonds, they sparkle and have great beauty. But what they do is they allow younger souls that are arriving to see images of light and beauty. And so they lose their fear of the transition. Oh, the things that you enjoy on the earth are available in the spirit world, but you must put them to service for the higher good. And so I use my beautiful clothes and my beautiful jewelry here in the spirit world to make people feel joyful, to make them feel welcome, to show them beauty, that life here is beautiful. Now, you don't have to die to do this. This could be your very service on the earthly realm. Some of you have beautiful clothes, but you keep them stuffed away in your closet, saying, well, I don't think I'll wear that today. My dears, make yourself beautiful. For you'll never know who you will meet, for your very light will shine through the beauty of your clothing. Let your clothes, let your jewelry, let all the things that you have become materialized. Become spiritualized. Let the material become the spiritual, is what I wish to say. And if they become spiritualized, it will be doing the work of spirit. Becoming a spiritual person does not mean sitting in church all day and reading hymns and humming and praying. No, my dears. Oh, it's nothing wrong with going to the church. But really, from the spiritual world, we'd rather see you be in the world and helping to alleviate suffering, lending a kind word, a kind hand, helping at a soup kitchen, giving money to the poor. This is the best way to serve others. Yes, my dears, go to church, pray to God, have faith, all of that. But do not neglect the world as well. If you're in the world and you bring the light of spirit to the world, then you will bless many people, my dears. I wish to leave you with that little simple thought today. I hope that it enlightens and enlivens all of you. Fletcher says our medium's power is waning, so we shall not tax him, but we shall return to you again soon. I thank you for receiving me. And as the power starts to fade, let me at least again remind you, call upon us, and we will come and help you. Oh, the power is starting to fade, and so I am going with it. Mind me. Well, Tubies, it's so good to be back with you, and channeling is such a blessing. I'm so thankful for the opportunity, and I hope that today's little seances has helped bring some spiritual light to your world. If you're interested in working on your spiritual life, I have a number of books out that might help you with your journey. I am a published author, and if you go to my website, www.psychicbob.com. Link will be below. I have a bookstore at my website, and you might want to think about picking up this book, Messages from Rose. It's about my work with my spirit guide Rose, my channeling experiences. Also have Ouija Mysteries that talks about my work with the Ouija board. Really a good book. Also Psyche Bob's Book of Spells. You might want to check that out, as well as Psyche Bob's Book of Wiccan Wisdom. So we got a number of books over there and a few more. I'm going to have another book hopefully coming soon on astrology. So keep watching. We'll have more about that. But I thank you for being here. You guys are the best. Listen, keep it here at Spirit Channel. We'll be back here tomorrow. Tomorrow's Sunday, and that means we've got the Witching Hour. Be here 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central, 6 Mountain, 5 p.m. Pacific, 1 a.m. London time, 2 a.m. Paris time, and whatever other time zone you're in. And we'll see you back here tomorrow for the Witching Hour. Guys, thanks for being here. May the Spirit's blessings be with all of you. And we'll see you tomorrow. And until then, may you all always, before I forget, hit subscribe, like this video, favorite it, share it with your friends. And if you do all that, may you always blessed be.